what if we'd done this a year ago? Leader Fan Radio Network.
Okay.
And KFAN.com. 2 minutes and 45 seconds past the hour of 3 o'clock Central Daylight Time. We welcome you back to a Thursday edition of the Bumper to Bumper program. A 3.5-hour tour today on a fairly moist Thursday afternoon here in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Guardsy produces the show. My name is Dan Barreiro, former Ink Stain Wretch, newspaper of the Twin Cities. And if I shout a lot early in the show, shout more than normal, there may be a very specific reason for that, which we'll get into maybe a little bit later in the program. Or it just might have to be the inside joke between Guardsy and me. In any case, we are delighted.
There's a few more in the inside joke. It's a good joke.
Well, that's true. That's true. That's a good point.
Bellowing with Barreiro, I think, is going to be the new name of the show.
That could be the new. Yeah. Good alliteration.
There we
again.
go. Anyway.
Yeah, that's not a bad thought. Dr. Dan's inbox is scheduled to be opened at 5:30 tonight. So email Guardsy forthwith. JG@KFAN.com. Seems to me it's, again, very fertile ground. A lot of ground to cultivate. So give yourself a shot at pleasing him, and then you could be part of the bit starting at 5:30. Sam Mitchell is scheduled to join us at the bottom of the 3 o'clock hour of the program. He is at 3:30. We'll get his reaction to Game 1 of the NBA Finals. I thought long and hard about starting with it because of the cat factor, because I guarantee you the grieving is going to be open again, even from people who say they know why the Wolves traded him. It's going to be painful, boys and girls. If Karl Anthony Towns Darnolds us, or is it better to say he might Ortiz us? How far back do we want to go? Regardless.
KG us.
Yeah. If he finishes the job, he, along with the New York Knickerbockers, who may never lose again, it's going to be painful around here, man. There's no way around it, even if you're logical and not knee-jerk about, well, why did they trade him? What idiots. It's still going to hurt, man. And there's some specific reasons we'll get into a little bit later in the broadcast, maybe even with Sam Mitchell. But I was struck by a quote today. I can't get it out of my head, and it's from Winter Park, where, of course, the Minnesota Vikings train. And it was the words of the head coach, KOC. This is from today. Vikings just sent out some of this from 31 minutes ago. I probably should have given it to you, and maybe you can play it later. And he's talking about the quarterbacks as really the top two. I've been really happy with the way both of those guys, JJ and Kyler, have kind of attacked it in their own individual kind of ways, knowing that they're competing. It's a competition. These guys are working every day. They know that. But the greater good of the Vikings and our team's ceiling is the most important thing that's clear to both of those guys. That seems to be KOC doubling down on, we ain't giving anything to anybody. Whether he means it or not is another issue, but he's declaring it, right? Forcefully, intentionally, and very directly. Here's my question. Why didn't we do this a year ago?
Right.
Why did we not do this a year ago? If competition is good, if in the end the organization wins, if you have greater options in front of you, why didn't we sit Daniel Jones down, look him in the eye, and say, I know you're going to have other offers. I know you might be tempted to go to the Colts. But we're here to tell you, this job, forget who we drafted and what we've said about him. The job's open. The starting job, J.J. McCarthy has not been anointed the guy. Now, I guess one of the questions would be, would it matter? Would he believe them? Because McCarthy, KOC wanted to believe that McCarthy was ready, and he wanted to believe he could be the quarterback whisperer, could get him there quickly, right? So maybe it's a moot point. Maybe somebody will tell us when the book is written that we did do that. And Jones still played the odds. Because what I recall is, I think we offered him more money on the 1-year deal than he got from the Colts. Maybe I think we threw in an extra $1 million. Not a huge amount, but an extra $1 million. And I don't know. Is there a way we can blame this on Kwesi?
Maybe
there is. There's always a way to blame it on Kwesi because he never has really spoken up for himself. He's decided to take the high road while he's just gotten obliterated here. Blame for some stuff that he is responsible for, and blame probably for a few things that are a little more complicated than that, including the quarterback situation. But I'm saying I'm applauding the quote, even if he, like I said, I don't know if he means it, because I fully expect, like most people, that Kyler will have to fall on his face to not be the starting quarterback when the season begins. But he's saying the right thing. And what did we say a year ago? We weren't convinced that this coach was comfortable in a potentially tense, unseemly sort of situation like a quarterback competition, right? And I give him credit if he really is trying to embrace it at this point, because I said all along, it should be fun. Yeah, you'll have the Jackals reporting on it every day. They'll be asking you questions endlessly, but that just comes with the bit, and that's the position that you're in. But imagine a world, I'm just wondering, a world in which the Vikings openly declared, we love J.J. McCarthy, but our obligation is to create the greatest competition out there. We like what we saw, the little we saw of Daniel Jones. We couldn't get it done to keep Darnold. We liked what we saw of Daniel Jones. And by God, let the chips fall where they may. The worst thing that might have happened is Jones would have won the job, and J.J. might have had to sit an extra year or two. And based on what we've seen, that might not be the worst thing. Now, that's that's hindsight, because I don't think anybody knew his floor was as low as it turned out to be last year. But I just wish we could get in. I wish KOC could get in the time machine and give us those same quotes a year ago. And I don't know when Jones ended up signing. It was probably earlier, before any of these off-season activities. But
right.
The sentiment was, it's so direct this time, right? It's like, hey, they know they're in a competition. We're not afraid of that. They shouldn't be afraid of that. It's all for the good of the team. Well, the way it went down last year was not in the best interests of the football team. And if the story is, as some have suggested, that KOC blew it, I just wish somebody would write it. I wish somebody would get it on the record, because otherwise it's the usual sort of innuendo and whispers and hints, and I guess I still have a hard time believing it, because we all know who runs the offense. We all know who runs the quarterback room. Frankly, I think we still know who runs this team. I think it's, and you can argue he's earned it already. There's enough promise in what he's done that he's earned it, even though we don't even have a single playoff win, do we?
We don't. We have a coach of the year.
We do have one coach of the year.
A couple 13-4s,
yeah, we got a couple really good regular season records, and there's been he's not even had the luxury of the same quarterback every time, right? That's hard to do.
Right.
Exactly. But it just struck me. It's like, huh. So it's okay to have a competition. It's okay for things to be that wide open. Now, maybe he's as confident in what he's saying as Seifert was after one day, indicating, well, they're not close. So I can continue to call it a competition, but we all know I don't have to declare a winner. It will just be self-evident when the Jackals watch him day after day in training camp. I don't know. Is my fantasy unrealistic? Is it beyond, we waited 1 year too long in the name of, we got to get him out there. We got to get J.J. McCarthy out there.
1 year late. I've said it with coaches over the years. And I was just saying this on our Jack Michaels show today, 740 The Fan.
Oh, nice.
I can't wait for the oral history of this. I don't know when it's going to be.
I agree with you.
10 years from now, 5 years from now. when everybody is moved on and we've sunset the whole thing, Rodgers, Jones, Darnold,
all of it.
JJ, who wanted whom?
It's a book.
It could be.
Could be a book.
Who wanted who? What were the discussions?
Yes.
Who was banging their fist on the table for each guy?
Yeah.
Who had the final say? I am fascinated by all of it. Someone's got to get to the bottom of it.
I agree. Well, I mean, it might not be a national bestseller, but it might be a regional bestseller.
It could do Lou Nanny level at Barnes & Noble downtown.
Maybe it's just like a 5-part series. It doesn't have to be a book. Maybe it's just a 5-part, like athletic series. What do we call those? Oral histories.
Oral histories.
Yeah. Maybe it's a 5-part oral history.
The oral history of this would be fascinating.
But will we ever get to the truth? Or will everybody sort of be protecting their own turf so much that even years later, it'll be really difficult to get to the truth?
Or will the truth still leave us unsatisfied? Because do we want the truth? Do we want to know?
Well, you can't handle the truth.
Can't handle the truth.
Yeah, that's very true. The line, I still regret that I didn't say it the day Randy Moss called in to Mike Tice Live. Everybody look, on your radio career, you think, okay, what's a broadcast you wish you would have said blank? Or you shouldn't have said this or whatever. That's going to haunt me forever. Randy Moss comes on in the middle of, what was the circumstance? That was the day, was that when he walked off the field?
I believe so, yep.
And Mike Tice walked into where the studio you're in and said, Randy Moss will be calling the show today. And I said, of course he will. Sure, Mike. Yeah, uh-huh. And then he did. And it started to get, not shockingly, a little tense between me and the freak, Randy Moss. Tice tried to play mediator. And Moss said something to the effect of, I speak the truth. I am the truth. And I thought it, but I didn't say it. You can't handle the truth. Right out of the movie. It was perfect. And I'll never get that moment back again. Think about it.
No, you won't. There will be no circumstance where Randy Moss will call in the active coaching show after he walked off the field. And serves that one up to you.
It's just regret. It's so much regret on that.
The truth hurts. People don't like hearing the truth. That's why the truth hurts.
There it is. You can't handle the truth, Randy. And in all honesty, part of the reason I didn't was out of respect for Tice, because
agree.
I feel like if I do that, it's going to get escalated beyond where it already is. I got a good relationship with Tice. He does let me challenge him. We do fire back and forth.
The feedback was good.
The feedback was good.
I used to get some of that.
That's true.
Coming in after Sludge and Lake.
No, I can't. If I do that, it's dogs and cats living together, and Tice might walk out, and that might be. On the other hand, maybe Moss would have laughed. Who knows? Who's to say? We'll never know.
Remember, and I know we have to break full circle. Remember when Jay Cutler was yelling at Tice?
Yes.
And Tice said the same thing.
Yes.
I wanted to let him have it, but I couldn't do it because of my respect for Lovie Smith.
That's true.
For the head coach at the time.
Well, it was when he went to sit with Cutler on the bench, Soldier Field. And as soon as Tice sat, Cutler stood up, got out, basically like the back of his hand, I don't know you, I don't want to talk to you. That was the occasion, as I recall it.
Yeah.
I mean, the ultimate sign of disrespect from your guy, Jay Cut. Yeah.
Total disrespect.
And that is the reason Tice, because I brought it up with Tice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he said, I respected Lovie Smith too much to make a scene.
That's it.
Same thing with
I'm
Tice. I'm
respecting Tice too much. Yeah. It's exactly it. All right, let's get a pause in. Better late than never. Sam Mitchell, bottom of the hour. How much cat regret are Wolves fans feeling today? I have to believe we are approaching an all-time high, even if you have a deep and abiding understanding of the conditions that led to the decision to move him. Because I will tell you, in fact, maybe we'll play the sound when we come back. I will tell you that after the game, I'm listening. I obviously watched the game. After the game, I'm listening to Cat being interviewed by the old TNT crew, Charles and the gang.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost myself in Cat's eyes.
It was so good. The whole thing was so good.
The serenity with which he spoke, the composure with which he played. I'm just shaking my head and I'm saying, Here we go again, man. The love we lost. We'll play a little bit of that sound and prepare you for Sam Mitchell next.
Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barreiro on the Fan.
From the 1-800 Ask Gary Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored.
Do we have a Glenn Mason saying you're wrong sounder? Does that exist?
I don't think it does.
It should.
It could very easily.
We'll try to get that done this year if he's back with us. Because it's the sounder I think I would use after reading this text. I want to get your view of it, though. This is from Mike out of Edina. The conditions that led to having to trade Cat were the result of the Gobert trade. That trade was never good and gets worse with every lost season. What are you watching? I guess it's the deal of it's difficult to watch if you're someone who tends to evaluate players and even teams on the basis of, see that basket? See that run they got on? Wow. And then it's easy then to conveniently forget, well, what's happening on the other side of the court? I am not here to make Rudy Gobert a first ballot Hall of Famer or to say it's the greatest move in history. But you're rewriting history if you do not, if you accept the premise here. That trade was never good. Help me out on the timing. When did we reach the conference finals for the first time since Garnett left? Since the Garnett one-year MV3.
That was the second year of having Rudy Gobert.
Oh. Coincidence? Or did he have anything to do with it?
They were the number one defense in the league for the whole season by a lot.
I mean, come on, man. Now, we can argue about, because Common and I were arguing, but he was talking about his affection for Cat. I think it has more to do with he just likes saying the big meow.
And Bodega
Cat more than anything else. But that the Wolves would have been better off trading Gobert. The problem with that is the Knicks didn't want Gobert for what they were looking for at that point. So we can definitely, I think, have reasoned discussions on were there other pathways to go. But to suggest that the trade was bad from the moment it happened rewrites Timberwolves history. And you want to talk about how quickly people forget? We won no titles. I understand that. But look at where we were and where we went to. And if you can't understand that a lot of that, not all of it, but a lot of that had to do with Gobert's influence on the defensive end, then you're making it up. You're just, admittedly and understandably, maybe right now, frustrated because you see what looks to be like Karl-Anthony Towns evolving to the next level at this late date. He's been in the league over 10 years, hasn't he?
2015 draft.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I understand that frustration, but how do you leave that out? How many basketball people do we talk to time and again who explain it? Somebody just texted you have an unhealthy obsession for Rudy. I would say to that person and to the earlier texter, you've got RDS. You've got Rudy derangement syndrome. That's the obsession. I don't have an obsession with him, but I want him. I don't want history rewritten because it's convenient for you at this point. That just doesn't make sense to me. And by the way, I've said this might be the season where you do try to make a move on Rudy. I'm not saying he's untouchable, but why is that so difficult for people? Is it just the frustration level, or is it?
I think it's that. Yeah, I think it's the Rudy stuff. I think it depends on how you view Rudy.
Rudy, here's another one. It's the worst thing to happen to the Wolves since 2006. Well, I don't even know how to, I mean, again.
Do we think they were a Western Conference Finals team? We should go back and look at the team before So that would have been the Pat Bev team.
Yes.
Right, with D'Lo. They played Memphis.
Yes.
Right? Fun team, good team. Jared Vanderbilt, we all liked it.
We did.
Played a different defense. They just scrambled around. It was good. Do we think that team, if we just ran it back, is going to the Western Conference Finals the next year and knocking out Denver in Game 7?
We are a one-and-done team without him. Now, there may be another defensive player who could do enough of the same things and then be better offensively that is a better fit. Eventually, I don't have. He's a flawed player. I'm not here to say otherwise, but you're not going to get me to listen to you if you dismiss to the degree that people tend to what he did contribute. Then I can't take you seriously because you're not really being serious. You're just frustrated, and frankly, you probably listened to the few national commentators, many of them ex-centers, who are jealous that he's made as much money as he has, more than whether what he does or doesn't contribute, correct?
Exactly.
So I don't know.
And we're also, it's funny, these are probably some of the same people that were bitter with Cat for the 5-6 years before that. Right? Like Cat 100%. Has changed the narrative about him
100%.
So much to his credit.
Oh, I would say it was no better. When things would go south with the Wolves, it was no better than 50-50 that we're never going to be able to win with Cat.
Right.
And many of them are the same people. There's no question about that.
We should pause.
Let's pause to stay on schedule. Here. And then Sam Mitchell, we'll get into all this with Sam. He, I believe, did pick the Knicks to win the series before the series began. We'll get his reaction to Game 1, what he expects going forward. I think he thinks there's a way out of this for the Spurs if they make one strategic change. We'll find out what that is and get into some Wolves stuff with him, too, when we come back.
You're listening to Barreiro on The Fan.
Keep listening for the next chance to win your way to our iHeartRadio.
Amazing, a man with this sort of vigorous, intense work schedule. I mean, Sam Mitchell was working last night till I think it was like 2 a.m. on Sirius the Sirius XM NBA channel. And yet, here he is, willing to join us, even though we're paying him a little less money than the folks at Sirius. Is that about right?
A little less. You guys are not paying me nothing. This relationship goes back to my rookie year with you, Dan. So
that's true.
I wouldn't charge you anything. I charge KFAN, but I wouldn't charge you.
I understand that. Is the rumor true that you're going to be part of the big uniform unveiling this weekend?
Yes, I'm flying in Saturday mid-afternoon, and yeah, they got an itinerary for me. You know, Dan, I haven't looked at that itinerary. Sure. I'm just going to put a sport coat on and a shirt and show up and do what they asked me to do.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So what is it? A uniform unveiling, right?
I think that's what it is, yeah. And is it leaked already, Guardsy? I don't even know.
It depends on who you believe. There's some renditions that have been leaked, but yes, it's a big rebrand with the uniform. Season ticket holders can go. The public can go. It's very cool. I'm going. I'll be there. I wouldn't miss it.
So, and guys, I have no idea. I haven't seen any pictures or anything of it. So don't ask me.
So they're going to be...
So I tell them, don't tell me so I don't have to lie.
You will be modeling? Is that the deal? It's you and Sam?
No, man. Oh. At this time in my life, with my body shape, I would not dare put on a basketball uniform on to my modeling.
I think
you got to be kidding me.
They're not tight anymore. They're very, they're very loose fitting. I think
they can't get that loose. When your butt dragging the ground, it can't get that much looser.
I think you're exaggerating just a little bit. Where do we begin? You went into this series picking the Knicks. Guardsy and I actually both did yesterday, too. So we have Game 1 in the books. Were there things that happened last night that were the reasons why you thought the Knicks you do expect them to win this series?
Well, think about this. Look at the reason I picked the Knicks. They're the most complete team. San Antonio played 3 guards.
Yeah.
Who's going to match up with Mikal Bridges and OG?
Yeah.
Who, by the way, those 2 guys had moments, but they didn't play great.
No.
Jalen Brunson was 12 for 31. The only guy that played really good was Karl-Anthony Towns with Cat.
Yeah.
That third quarter when San Antonio could have blew them out the water, Karl-Anthony Towns rebounded, scoring, taking people off the dribble. He kept them in that game. He the one brought them back to within 2 points, and then Jalen Brunson and others took over. And this is my other point. You're not going to beat the Knicks playing small ball. You're not going to beat the Knicks with Victor playing center. If you're not going to play him at the 4, which in my estimation is his natural position, you're not going to move him at the 4 and put one. And they got 3 7-footers. This is what I don't understand. You got 3 7-footers sitting on the bench, and you got Victor Wembanyama out there, 219 pounds, getting the hell kicked out of him physically, and you won't put nobody out there with him to take up that slack. Dan, if you go back when Stephon Marbury and KG were young players, we didn't let people beat on them. You had to fight me if you put your hand on them. So I don't understand the lack of protection. And then we're not seeing how skilled he really is. He's down there fighting and wrestling with centers. This guy's a thoroughbred. He's not a horse that pulls a buggy. Right. He's a race horse. Get him out in transition, let him rim run, get him out in the break, and then we can see the best of what this kid can be. But right now, playing center, that's not who he is, and that's not what he is.
Well, do you expect – see, I don't disagree with you, but I think I'll be stunned if the Spurs make that move. What do you think?
Well, Dan, this is the problem. It's hard to make an adjustment when you get to the finals playing the same way, right? It's just hard because somewhere in you reminds you that, hey, just stick to our game plan, stick to what's been working, it'll eventually work out. But it comes a point in time as a coach that it don't. As a head coach, you find out when it's working and when it's not working.
Yeah, right.
Right? And it has worked, and it almost cost you in the OKC series. If you go back and look at the 3 games that they lost, Hartenstein and them beat the crap out of Victor.
Yeah, good point.
The crap out of him. This is the difference between the Knicks and OKC. Victor didn't have to guard anybody. Chet didn't show up.
Yeah.
People say Chet had a bad game. No. A bad game is 5. A bad game offensively is what Jalen Brunson did. Taking 4 shots, no. You didn't show up. You didn't try. So Chet didn't have a bad game. He didn't show up. He didn't have to guard Chet. He didn't have to guard Hartenstein. So all Victor had to do was play center field. Now he's got to guard Cat. You know Cat's a scorer. Cat will get you 30. So that means Cat is going to make him play way outside the 3-point line. Now the way New York plays, they don't just play isolation basketball. They run a lot of corner offense. They run a lot of that motion offense that Mike Brown learned to go to state. Back screens, hard cuts, slips. So they can ease the basket. So the floor got to be spread. In order for that to work, you got to have guys who can make threes. So San Antonio, they're not a great 3-point shooting team, and the Knicks are bigger, more athletic, more experienced, and they got better players. I thought the Knicks played one of their worst. I thought they played one of the second worst playoff game of the season to start, other than that Cleveland start, and they ended up winning by 10.
Well, you give me a lot to chew on there. The bookend forwards, I think, I've heard you talk about that before. It was an excellent observation. That's a very different look than what the Spurs are used to, and those are both damn good players. But I want to center a little bit on Cat, a guy you obviously know well from here, coached, had a great relationship with, etc. You and I have talked about Cat a lot over the years, and even about some of the warts and some of the exasperating aspects of the flopping around or going to the ground or getting upset with refs, whatever. What impressed me last night, really through this whole run, but especially last night, this is the finals and it's game 1, and you're trying to set a tone, is Sam, he played with such, I don't know what the word is, composure, control, serenity. He almost looked to me like he, even at this late date, I'm talking about emotionally, I'm talking about mentally, has reached a little bit of a different state. What did you see?
Well, why do you think that?
Well,
think about it. Why do you think all of a sudden Cat is playing with composure? He's not rushing. He's not panicking. He don't feel like every time he gets the ball, he got to do something with it from a scoring standpoint. Why do you think so?
Oh, I think you and I both know the answer to that. He's going to see.
They put the ball in his
hand. He's going to see the ball again, but he's not going to have to wait 9 minutes to see the ball again.
There you go. So think about it like this: Karl-Anthony Towns became a All-NBA center offensively, right? Now all of a sudden everybody started killing him defensively.
Right.
But Carl was a great offensive player and a great rebounder.
Yep.
Right? His defense was just a little suspect. How do you keep a guy locked in, and how do you get more out of him on the defensive end? You put the ball in his hand and say, I trust. See, before, early in the season, every time Carl got the ball, he tried to score because he knew he wasn't getting it back.
Yes.
So guess what Mike Brown did? We're going to run the offense through you. So guess what Carl does now? I got the ball. I can shoot whenever I want. I can make a move whenever I want. But now they trust me to set the table for everybody. So you've given him more responsibility. I still got to get you 20, but now I got to get to 7, 8, 9 assists. I still got to get 14, 15 rebounds, and I got to play better defense and protect the rim. So you're getting more out of him, and he's not complaining about taking less shots. Why? Because I got the freaking ball all the time. I'm important. Larry Brown used to say something, Dan, I'll never forget. Larry Brown said, you want to get players to play hard? Just let them touch the rock. They ain't got to shoot it. Just let them be a part of the offense. See, defense is the unfun part of the game. Offense is the fun part. So you want me to go out there and play my ass off with the part that ain't fun and don't get paid to do. But when it comes to offense, I don't get to have none of that fun. How long you think that's going to work?
Not very well. I'll give you the stat you probably already know. And we actually talked about this a little bit yesterday with, we had Mitch Lawrence on, who you know well. You've worked with Mitch for a while. He used to be a colleague of mine many years ago in Dallas. I'm looking at Cat's stats, okay? And in 18 playoff games last year, Cat had a total for the entire playoff run of 24 assists. This year,
out of 18 games, that's like 1.1 a game.
1.3 a game. This year,
yep, in
only 15 games so far, 3 fewer games so far, he's got 86 assists, Sam.
Wow.
It's just stunning.
So now, what does that tell you now? Does that tell you that did Mike Brown change anything coaching from a standpoint of his footwork? Did Mike Brown yell at Cat and curse him out and make him play better D? No, can't do that. No, Mike Brown said, we're going to utilize what you do best. You're an offensive guy. So we're going to put the ball in your hand. We're going to let you orchestrate. But guess what? If I trust you to do that, you got to make good decisions. Can't turn the ball over. You can't make these wild moves where you get offensive fouls. And more importantly, you can't take bad shots. The guy that has the ball in his hand got to be responsible. And that's all Mike Brown did. And you're getting the best version of Karl-Anthony Towns.
Here's my question. I don't know if this has been established. I don't want to turn this into New York Knicks fan line exactly, but how does Brown get to where, I know you were talking about it all year, I was talking about all year, a lot of people were, you got to get him more involved and you're going to get the best out of him. But where was the epiphany moment? I mean, did he wake up? Because Brown was with the team all year. Did he wake up one day and said, you know what, we got to completely change the way we do this? Did somebody else go to him? How has that story been told yet?
The story hasn't been told, but go back to Mikal Bridges. Remember when Mikal Bridges came out and said, guys, this is me.
Yeah.
This is me. I haven't been doing this. I haven't been doing that. I haven't been doing this. So when Mikal Bridges looked in the mirror and said what he could do better and accepted his role, that made every guy on that team and every coach. Mm-hmm. And at some point, somebody looked at Karl-Anthony Towns and said, we're underutilizing you. We're not. Go back, Dan. People don't remember. Do people understand why Minnesota drafted, why Flip drafted Cat? Let me give you a quick story. We were going to draft Jahlil Okafor. The night before the draft, when me, Milt Newton, and Flip was leaving the building, Milt grabbed me before I got on the elevator with Flip and said, Sam, Flip is going to draft Okafor. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, I need you to talk to Flip because you've been knowing Flip the longest. He'll listen to you. He said, tell Flip, go back and watch Karl-Anthony Towns' high school tapes, not his college tapes. Flip and I get in the elevator. I said, Flip, who you going to draft? He said, Okafor. And he told me why. He said, I can't draft the guy number one that averaged 9 points and 9 rebounds. That's what Carl averaged at Kentucky. He said, Okafor averaged 17 and 10, that dude. I said, go back and watch Cat high school tapes. Flip and I just so happened to be getting on the elevator the next morning about 8 o'clock, coming into the office. Flip had a thing. He would write the name of the person he was going to draft in the first round in the palm of his hand. When we got on the elevator, I said, Flip, who you going to take? He turned his palm over, Carl Anthony Towns. I said, why? He said, when I watched his high school tape, he played point center. He was handling the ball. No one understood how skilled Carl was until you go back and watch him play in high school. Remember at Kentucky, he had to play in a box because they had an All-American at every position.
Yeah, that's true.
Remember, he wasn't allowed to step out and shoot threes.
No. His defense has improved. We'll all agree on that. And last night, I thought his defense was exemplary. What did he do? I mean, with Wemby, it's always a team effort, obviously, and you clearly think the San Antonio strategy is playing into the hands of the defense on the Knicks side. But what did you observe? What was the Towns' approach? That because I thought I saw the stat that when they were matched up, I think Wemby was like, did I see 1 for 8 or 2 for 12, or it was not a very good number.
1 and 2. Dan, okay, there's no drills. There's nothing I can do as a coach. Defense is 1 and 2. Every kid know how to get down in the defensive stand and slide his feet. You don't get to the NBA unless you know how to do a defensive stand. But it's 1 and 2. It's understanding your worth, right? To get a guy to play defense, remember I had Rasho Nesterovich. Yeah. Everybody told me Rasho Nesterovich could not hard show and get back. You know what I told Rasho? This is how we're going to play ball screens. If you can't do it, sit on the bench. Guess what? He wants to play. So he did it. Yeah. So if Mike Brown said to Carl Anthony Towns, see, drop coverage is the worst coverage. Because you make guys, if you ain't Rudy Gobert or Victor, you look like you can't play.
Mm-hmm.
He brought Carl Anthony Towns up to the point of attack. He made him hard show. He made him move his feet. And then he put the pressure on him. Do you want to play? Yes. You got to decide we're going to play defense. Figure it out.
Sam Mitchell on a roll today.
Dan, it ain't rocket science, man.
No.
People think it's the coach did something different. Let me tell you the reason why the Knicks went with Mike Brown over Tom Thibodeau. And this is why I think, and I know, we all know Tibbs.
Yep.
Love Tibbs.
Love him.
Mike Brown is going to sit in a room with his coaches and take information and listen.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Thibodeau's not going to have that conversation.
True.
And what I think happened with Mike Brown, think about it. Early in the year, Mike Brown wasn't doing certain things.
No.
But I think those coaches in the room with him, the guys who had been there and knew the players, started giving him some advice. And he started listening. And that's your job as the head coach, is to take information and then make the best decision. Your job is not to have to know everything. That's why you have 9 assistant coaches.
Yeah.
So you don't have to know everything.
Right.
But your job is to take all this information and then figure out what to do with it.
That's the skill. That's important.
That's the skill.
Yeah, I grant that. So to Wolves fans who are listening to this, and I'm talking about fans who are rational enough to understand a lot of what went into the decision to trade Cat that had less to do with his ability and more to do with finances.
That's all it was.
Can you talk him off the ledge, or do you see? Because it's hard right now. If you're a Wolves fan, Sam, and you see this version of Cat, you're going, "Oh my God," you know?
Well, we saw that. Look, man, look at the success that Timberwolves had when Cat was there and on the fence.
Right. Yeah.
Look how deep they went into the playoffs. Guys, it's not like they were terrible. It's not like the Timberwolves were getting beat in the first round.
No.
But give the Wolves credit. They knew they couldn't afford Carl Anthony Towns when they signed him to the deal. They knew it then. But he played so well, they couldn't look Carl in the eye and say, "No, we're not going to pay you."
Yeah. Right.
So for all the people that used to say Mr. Taylor was cheap and wouldn't do this, Glenn paid him. Even though he knew he couldn't sustain it. A-Rod them came in. They looking at that tax.
Yeah.
Dan, you cannot, it's hard to pay to play. Even Golden State, with all the money they got, I kept telling people, that owner is going to get tired of paying that tax, even if you win the championship. Does it feel like you won the championship and got to turn around and write a check for $300 million to the people you just beat?
Yeah, right.
And guess what? They get to get that money and get to use it to get better to beat you. So you're paying your opponents to get better to beat you. Man, you're not gonna keep doing that.
Yeah, no, that's the sad. That second apron stuff, man. It's a killer. There's no question. So, what is you know what's out there or what potentially might be out there for the Wolves? You also know, I think you know, Tim Conley. The only time he spoke, the group setting after their terrible Game 6 performance against the Spurs, said, "Look, we this ain't working. I mean, we're not going to be able to. We can't finish sixth, and we can't be the sixth best team. We gotta figure something out here. The status quo isn't going to work." He made it pretty clear he intends to be ambitious this offseason. The assumption is it starts with Julius because it needs to. But the question is, what can you get for him? And beyond that, of the names you heard, I don't think they're going to be in the Giannis sweepstakes. I really don't. And I think there may be too much to give up there. But
Dan, Giannis going to OKC.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Chet's going to be in Milwaukee. I've been saying that for 9 months. I've been saying the reason Milwaukee's waited.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, man, look at them bad trades for Giannis. Man, I don't want that garbage. You're trying to unload everything you don't want.
Right.
Why, if you don't want the guys, why would I want them?
Yeah.
The only trade out there is OKC that makes sense. You can give them Chet. You can give them Jalen Williams. You can give them a few draft picks. And if you're OKC, San Antonio just beat you.
Yeah.
They beat you 4 out of 5 times in the regular season. They beat you twice in the Western Conference Finals, Game 1 and Game 7. They can beat you. So, and Chet does not occupy Giannis. Does not occupy Victor. You got to go get somebody that Victor understands he got to guard and pay attention to. It's 4 guys. Giannis, the Joker, Joel Embiid when he's healthy, and Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
Everybody else, Victor's not even going to guard because they're non-offensive centers. So you got to go get somebody that's going to hold all of Victor's attention. Giannis would do that. And they don't want to have all the young players. If I'm Milwaukee, if I can get Chet or Jalen Williams as a draft picks, I'll start over with that.
Who do you want the Wolves to go get? Who's realistic to get?
Well, I would even do this, look. Are they going to, if they keep Rudy, I would probably, and we do move Julius Randle, I would slide Nas into that starting power.
Right.
Look, man. If Anthony Edwards wouldn't have got hurt or been hurt, we might have been having a different conversation.
Yeah, that's true.
It might have been the Timberwolves playing. Because you got to remember now, Anthony Edwards makes everybody on that team 10, 15% better when he's on the floor healthy. He just couldn't do the things offensively and defensively that he used to do.
And DiVincenzo was out, too.
I wouldn't overreact,
right?
But I would try to strengthen my team, and another outside shooter would help.
That's I think, mandatory.
A guy that you know that you got it, that look, a guy like Duncan Robinson. If he's on the court, you got to guard it. They need another guy to play with Ant that you know you got to guard.
Let me ask you this: if Dallas is entertaining or might entertain moving Kyrie, coming off the injury, and given the age disparity between him and the young guy, would you be interested if you could get Kyrie for Julius and a 1 and maybe something else? Would you take that risk?
Yes. Kyrie Irving has a skill set that most people in the NBA can't even imagine. When he's healthy, he's one of the best. You can make the argument, when he's healthy, he could be the best guard in the league at times.
Mm-hmm.
He's that good. He's really that good. And I like Kyrie as a human being. That's a person. If they can get Kyrie Irving after missing the whole year and pair him with Anthony Edwards, and Kyrie is used to playing with guys with Anthony Edwards' talent, he's played with LeBron, he's been with those guys before, yes. And now you got Rudy back there cleaning up stuff. He don't have to kill himself, yes. Because he checks every box. He can run the team, he can break you down one-on-one, and he can shoot threes.
And isn't it also just as important, you can play Anthony off the ball a little bit more. So you're not asking him to do the whole package all of the time.
Yeah. Dude, if they can go get Kyrie Irving and just have to give up Julius Randle and some picks, I would do that all night long.
Would you trade? You mentioned Rudy, and there are rumors there are some teams that might be interested. But why keep...
Man, here in Atlanta, the Hawks would take Rudy. I would take it.
Yeah. Why would you take him?
Dude, size matters now. We're going back to the old school NBA days where teams are putting 2 7-footers on the floor. Did you see Kelvin Johnson and Harrison Barnes trying to box out Cat the other night? Can't do it.
No,
it's too big. It ain't about skill with them big guys. It's about having to move them out of that space. You can't do it. So if I was the Wolves, I would keep Rudy.
Interesting.
That size matters. I would keep him. You don't think about it now. Look who you beat with Rudy Gobert. Didn't you beat the Denver Nuggets with Rudy Gobert?
I think I checked. Yes, they did.
Okay. Now, last time I checked, not too many people go up against the Joker and win. I would keep him for that reason. I would keep Rudy. I wouldn't let Rudy go.
Sam, I've got, since the start of the show, a minimum of 15 to 20 texters who are all killing me for what they say is my overprotection of Rudy's value. And I've tried to explain it to them. I mean, we all know about his offensive liabilities. They're there. There's no need. You and I have talked about that. But why is it so difficult for the average fan to understand the influence on the other end that is still, I think, really high for him? I don't. Why is it so hard for people to understand that or accept?
Because Dan, they've never had to go on a basketball court and stand next to a guy 7'2", 270 pounds, and go play against him. They've never had to do that. Ask people, did they see what these big guys doing to these little guys? That weight, that size, they engulf people. Man, it matters. And Rudy Gobert is not a stiff. He's one of your more athletic centers. Now, look, yeah, there are times his lack of scoring and stuff can be a detriment. Yeah, but I would also say this. When Rudy does step hard into the paint and demand the ball, guys went to him the ball.
Yeah.
The Rudy Gobert I see who played for France in the national team and the Rudy Gobert I see in the NBA are two totally different players. The guy I see on the national team, you throw him the ball deep in the paint, he does something with it. The guy I see in the NBA, they look him off.
Well, let me ask you this.
And I'm telling you, man, if you want me to rebound, play defense, and do the tough things early in the game, throw me some passes. So what if I miss? I'm just trying to keep you motivated and keep you going. Remember, Don Nelson would let Manute Bol shoot threes. Not because he can make them, but because when he let him shoot threes, he rebounded and blocked shots.
Now, you'll grant you're at a disadvantage against Wemby because he doesn't have to guard Rudy. That's the one. For people who say you got to make a move on Rudy, I guess that can be the comeback if you want to narrow it to that single matchup.
Okay.
Right? What do you say to that?
Let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
I would how do you use Rudy? Put Rudy in that dunker spot. Now, when Victor go help Rudy, you got to get every offensive rebound.
Right. Yeah.
Now, offense, put Rudy in. You just think about Kyrie Irving and Anthony Edwards. Put Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert in a high screen and roll. And you tell Rudy, just roll hard to the front of that rim. At 7'3", somebody's going to go down and guard him and bump him. Which is going to, and Anthony Edwards' size and creativity, he can pick people apart. It's all how you use these guys. Think about this. When Mitch Johnson put Victor in the high screen and roll in that OKC series, look at all the opportunities it created.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can just throw it up to the rim and he can go get it.
By the way, on Wemby, you've made your position clear on how you think he needs to be used as more of a thoroughbred, but he is still
like Kevin Garnett.
Okay, but he's what is he, 7'5", whatever he is. Is there not?
But he's 219 pounds, Dan.
Well, okay. Well, then maybe
he ain't Will Chamberlain.
I get that, but there's not a way, even from a finesse, even if he's more finesse at this point, to occasionally get him down low. Is that not something you can?
Well, you can do that if he's playing against Chet.
Yeah, right.
Why would I put? Okay, Why would I put Victor on the block against Joel Embiid?
You don't think that would
Joel Embiid Joel Embiid too big. He's just gonna beat him up. Now, I want Victor to have space. Think about if Victor don't have to stand under the basket and get every rebound.
Yeah.
So think if you had another 7-footer getting the rebound, and now Victor could release early and take off running and rim run. Who gonna stop him if he rim runs? But right now, you can't get him out of space because if he don't get the rebound, they can't get it.
Yeah.
Because you're starting 4 guards. People don't forget, San Antonio Spurs are starting 4 guards. You're not going to beat the New York Knicks starting 4 guards.
No, that's for sure.
No, you're not going to beat them. You're not even going to come close to beating them. Dan, if they don't make some adjustments, this series may not go past 4 or 5.
Well, now you're getting cocky.
The Knicks played bad.
Yeah.
Dan, they played bad.
But the Spurs shot bad.
They did not play good at all.
The Spurs shot bad.
And they won the game by 10.
True. But, I mean, the Spurs also, I mean, Wemby shot. I don't think he's going to shoot that badly again. You can make that argument, too. Right? I mean, that's part of it. Yeah. I mean,
still tell me how they're going to match up.
No, not – I mean,
You got 4 guards in the lineup.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
And not one of them can still guard Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
Can't guard OG. Can't guard Bridges. Can't guard Cap. So how you going to win?
How good is Dylan Harper going to be?
Put it to you like this. If the Wolves need a point guard, De'Aaron Fox may be available next year. He got to start.
Yeah.
You got to put him in the start lineup.
You do, don't you? Yeah.
Because you're going to have to pay him at some point. And what you don't want is what? Another James Harden scenario where you got this guy coming off the bench and it's time to pay him and he wants big money and you're saying, and then you turn around and say, well, you're a bench guy. No, I'm a bench guy because I made the sacrifice for the team, but I'm really a starter. Remember, that was James Harden's argument.
That's true.
I came off the bench to help the team.
Yeah.
But now, and you told me you was not going to hold that against me. But when it was time to pay me, you reminded me I'm a bench guy.
I've blown through two I do remember it well. I got one more for you. In your career,
dude, you need to get a podcast so we can just talk all night.
Believe me, well, be careful what you wish for, Sam. That's all I'm going to say. Be careful what you wish for there, because then I'll be on your ass to do exactly that more than you know. However, in your career, college, pro, and even coaching, was there ever a weird incident in which some goofball ended up on the floor like we saw last night, where you were on the court and some chumbalone decided to make it his day?
Yeah, I think I recall something like that. A lady, well-endowed lady, somewhere we was playing, ran out on the court or something. I do remember something like that. And, I think the security people handled it well. And, Dan, those things don't bother me as long as they're not trying to harm anyone. Yeah. I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah, but you don't
when
know.
People want to, like Kevin McHale. Did Kevin McHale ever tell you a story about his son streaking?
No, I've never heard that.
Oh, my God. Dude, Kevin McHale told a story one time. One of his sons, they had a high school football game. And at halftime, a couple of kids run out on the field and drop their pants and start running. It's like 3 kids, if I'm telling the story correctly. And Kevin McHale's wife is just like aghast. She can't believe it. Kevin is he in the stands crying, laughing. And she's like, well, what do you think is so funny? He said, I think it was his son, Joy. He said, hell, baby, one of them, Joy.
Oh, I not heard that one.
Mac thought that was hilarious.
That's pretty good.
And Mac said, and think about this. And this was Mac said to his wife as she was, how women can get upset. Mac said, honey, if that's the worst thing that he does, I think we did a pretty good job raising him. If that's the worst thing he did throughout high school, because I think of some of the dumb stuff I did in high school. Matt said, if that's the craziest thing he does, I think we've done a pretty good job.
That's probably true. What do you want to name the podcast, by the way?
Hey, man, Dan and me.
That's pretty good. I like that. That's perfect.
See, I'm giving you top billing.
Yeah, well, I appreciate. I'm surprised, actually. I'm very surprised. Like I said, I could go all day with you, as you know. So we'll bug you. Maybe we'll bug you again as we get closer to the. When is the draft? I don't even remember. Was it late June? Got to be, I assume.
Hey, man, I'm a Darren Peterson guy now. I coached that kid for 2 summers.
That's right. I do remember that.
And I've been getting the phone calls from the teams in the top half of the draft doing their research.
Do you get a cut?
Yeah, I spoke to about 3 or 4. No, nothing, man. Look, Dan, they had invited me to the draft, which I was floored. But like I told the parents and I told Darren, you got family and friends that have been with him a lot longer than me that deserves to be there. So I thanked them for thinking of me that much. It meant a lot to me for them to invite me. But I respectfully declined because that time should be for family. That time should be for all the people that was there for him when other people wasn't. Those are the people that should be there at that moment.
Yeah.
I was brought in to do a job.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did my job, and I'm glad the parents feel like I did my job. But that special moment, that should be reserved for family.
All right. We're going to go. By the way, I'm on Sunday morning, 9 to 11, if you want to come into studio.
Dan, if I'm not doing anything, I'll come in.
I'll text you and we'll see.
If they don't have me doing anything, because I'm staying right downtown.
Hell, I'll pick you up.
Right across the street from
I'd pick you up.
So if I'm not doing anything, not doing anything, I'll come over.
We'll figure it out. Thanks, my friend. Love you. Appreciate the time as always. Be good. Thanks, Sam. Bye. Sam Mitchell helping us out on I mean, if we're ranking Sam Mitchell appearances, we've had some really good ones. I think that one might go to the top of the list. I've only blown through 3 breaks.
Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barreiro on the Fan.
From the 1-800-ASK-GARY Traffic Center.
This report is